Members, it's the appointed time. We have a quorum. I call this meeting to order. Please be noted that Mr. Michael TIEN and Mr. Michael LUK have respectively on the 21st of March and the 24th of March written to me. Michael TIEN requested the MTRC to respond to signaling system incident happened on the 29th of February, and Mr. Michael LUK submitted a letter regarding Human Resources Strategy Plan of MTRC. Do members agree that we should add these two items to our agenda? All right. Secretariat, please be noted. The first item today, information papers issued since the last meeting. Since the last meeting, 3 information papers have been issued. The details have been set out in the agenda. Agenda item 2, progress update on enhancement of MTR facilities and passenger experience. There are 2 papers, LC paper number CB bracket 4377/2024 bracket 01 and LC paper number CB bracket 4377/2024 bracket 02. Let us first welcome the administration as well as representatives from the MTRC to join us. Members who would like to speak, please press the button. Members, please be reminded that if you have any direct or indirect pecuniary interest in relation to the discussion item today, please disclose the nature of such interest in accordance with Rule 83A of the Rules of Procedure before you speak on the item. We have with us Mr. Nick Choi, Deputy Secretary for Transport and Logistics, and Ms. Andrana Assistant Secretary for Transport and Logistics. We also have Dr. Tony Lee from the MTRC, who is the Operations and Innovation Director. Also from MTRC, we have Ms. Cheris Lee, Chief of Operating and Metro Segment, Ms. Annie Leung, General Manager, Marketing and Customer Experience, Mr. Tim Leung, General Manager, E&M Construction, and Mr. Lam Chan, General Manager, Corporate Relations. Welcome. Mr. Choi, you will walk us through the paper first, right? Yes. Railway is the backbone of our transportation network. MTRC has been serving 5 million passengers every day, accounting for 40% of our total capacity of public transportation. The government has been encouraging the MTRC to continuously improve its station facilities and passenger experience. The aim is to provide efficient and comfortable services to passengers. Now the MTRC will brief us on the update on enhancement of MTR facilities and passenger experience. This includes enhancing accessibility for people in need as well as enhancing comfortability as well as other services. MTRC would also brief us on other types of facilities including baby care rooms, toilets, drinking water dispenser, as well as their progress on installing automatic platform gates. The MTRC has also been promoting smart mobility. The government understands that the public is concerned about the different types of services provided by the MTRC. I now invite representatives of the MTRC to give us a presentation first. Yes, Dr. Lee. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for inviting us to give you a presentation on the update on enhancement of MTR facilities and passenger experience. The MTRC has been serving Hong Kong for 45 years, and we strive to provide safe, reliable, efficient, and green service to passengers. We hope passengers can feel that we attach importance to passengers' feedback, and based on passengers' feedback, we've been improving our services. We make use of technologies to promote smart mobility, and we strive to provide inclusive travel experience so that passengers from different groups of the community can enjoy our services. We strive to create a positive impact on the communities. We strive to enhance accessibility, and we have been expanding our transport network to keep the city moving. We value our passengers' opinions to help us improve our services and strive for excellence. We have been through different channels and platforms receiving feedback from passengers, we also take the initiative to visit different communities to understand passengers' needs. We've been continuously improving our hardware and software facilities to provide better experiences for our passengers. Last month, on Tuma Line and Israel Line, we conducted an opinion survey to directly collect passengers' opinions, and the feedback we got was positive, and this is very encouraging for us. Also, we will, in a targeted manner, put into resources to improve our facilities to meet people's needs. We have been putting into resources to enhance our assets and facilities to provide a safe, reliable, and accessible services for passengers. At different stations, in order to ease passenger flow, we have reconfigured some of the concourses layout. For instance, at Tung station, at individuals' exit and entrances, we added gates, and we also relocated some of the ticket gates. Last year, we also completed works on providing new staircases and escalators. There are escalators that connect the concourse to the platform to ease passengers' flow during peak hours. At Shenshui Station and Hongham Station, we have also completed some of the works. At Tongchong Station and at Taiwan Station, we have added new escalators to provide more convenience to passengers. At busy stations, during works, we cordoned off some of the areas and we provide alert systems, and we thank passengers for giving their understanding so that we can complete our work smoothly. At Taiwan Station, Wong Chok Han Station, and Kai Tak Station, there are also new facilities provided to provide seamless experience. The MTRC has been paying attention to needs of different passengers, especially the elderly, as well as parents with baby strollers. So at different stations, we have provided barrier-free facilities. Now at 99 stations on our network, only the Fortress Hill Station is still lacking lifts that connect the platform with the street level. Now we are building the Braemar Hill pedestrian link, and this includes the construction of a pedestrian subway and passenger lift connecting to Fortress Hill Station. The project is expected to be completed by 2027. By then, all MTR stations in Hong Kong will be equipped with passenger lift connecting the platform with the street level. Also, the second lift being built at Mayfu Station is under good progress. At Shao Kei Wan Station, we are adding escalators to individual exits and entrances, and it is expected that the works will be completed by the middle of this year. Apart from providing barrier-free facilities, we strive to provide more thoughtful services for the elderly. We have launched an MTR Care app, and last October, we rolled out the 2.0 version. We added a new function that allows the elderly to check the real-time information of lift operation. We are also running a trial for the portable ramp booking service. And last July, we launched the Caring for Dementia program. And when we notice that there are people with dementia or elderly people who are missing, we will send alert to staff. And since the launch of the program, we have helped the police to find over 10 missing people. On hardware, there are 6 stations where there are electric sockets dedicated for powered wheelchairs, so that people who are on wheelchair, they can charge their devices. We have also replaced our chiller facilities to make our stations more comfortable for our passengers. At different elevated stations, we are launching the chiller replacement projects. We are also upgrading since 2022 till the end of last year. We have enhanced 523 escalators, and we're also replacing hydraulic lifts with new traction lifts to provide more convenience to passengers. We attach importance to passenger safety, and we have been promoting safety of escalators. In 2023, we held 118 promotional activities. We also held community talks and also other activities to raise public awareness on escalator safety. We've been listening to passengers' needs, and we strive to take care of our passengers on their different travel needs. At 65 stations on our network, including interchange stations, we have toilets, including stations on Israel Link and Tuen line as well as Disney Resort line. There are toilets. There are 14 stations with different facilities, including interchange stations. As we plan our new stations, we will include toilets as well as baby care rooms in order to better cater to passengers' needs. We are also seeing good progress in terms of installing water dispensers at stations. Currently, 18 stations are equipped with water dispensers so that we can be more environmentally friendly. We also strive to enhance our facilities and services at light rail stops. 16 light rail stops are now equipped with the newly designed passenger information display panels to provide more information. Pictures and images can be displayed on panels as well. We believe that within this year, all light rail stops will be equipped with such panels. We have also been following up on installation of automatic platform gates. Since the middle of 2023, we launched the installation works along the Israel line. We've been seeing good progress so far. For race course stations as well as Lok Ma Chau stations, the gates have been commissioned. For Shenzhen, Shatin, Tai Wai, and Tai Po market stations, the installation has been completed by the first half of this year. For Fanling, Foutan, Taiwan, and Kowloon Tong stations, the installation works will commence in the next 6 months. As for Lo Wu University and Mongkok East stations, they are stations with sharper curves platforms, and the installation works would be more challenging. We will, starting from Q4 this year, commence the installation. We expect that by the end of 2024, we will see the completion of installation of such gates at 9 stations, and we expect that we will finish the installation at the remaining stations by 2025. We also strive to enhance our software system to promote smart mobility and enhance passenger experience. For instance, the MTR mobile app's next train function are now covering 10 heavy railway lines and light rail, and in 2021 we added the next bus function. Also, for all stations, we provide free Wi-Fi service covering the concourses, and at 19 stations we provide mobile charging facilities. We injected $1.3 billion, and starting from next year we've been renewing our new ticket gates. The new ticket gates are more flexible and they support e-payment options, including Octopus card, QR code, and contactless credit card payment to cater to passengers' needs. Recently, at Quarry Bay Station and Kai Tak Station, we are providing AI services. Our virtual assistants are able to respond to questions in English, Putonghua, and Cantonese. We will continue to enhance the service of Tracy, which is the virtual assistant. And we will continue to run trials of such service model. Well, last but not least, we'll continue to put in resources to enhance our services to promote smart mobility and provide inclusive experience to take care of passengers with different needs. We'll also continue to communicate with the public, listen to people's needs to provide reliable and safe services to passengers. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Lee. A total of 11 members have pressed the button. They are Mr. Dominic Lee, Chan Hock Fong, Chen Siu Hong, Dr. Lo Wai Kwok, Mr. Yang Wing Kid, Michael TIEN Puk-sun, Chow Siu Chung, Tung Nite, Holden Chow, and Kenneth Lau. We have about an hour, 4 minutes, question and answer included. If we have sufficient time, we will have second round. Mr. Dominic Lee, please. Thank you, Chairman. The MTR has been enhancing station as well as safety. I recognize its efforts, but there are also some long-standing problems and aspirations from the community. The MTRCL has yet to respond to these needs, but then they are not very difficult. I am an anti-New Territories Legislative Council member. You need to tap MTR Octopus card in order to access the Kowloon Tong station. Well, I think it's not that difficult to sort out the problem. I don't understand why the MTRCL is not dealing with the problem in relation to Tai Wai Station Exit E. Many members have been asking for barrier-free access to this exit. Many residents nearby use this exit. When will you implement the relevant measure? Tai Wai Station is one of the busiest MTR stations in Hong Kong. The escalator or lift lobby is not large enough, making it difficult for wheelchair users to move around. Is it possible to work around this problem? Some 60% of MTR stations have toilets. You touched upon this issue. What is the progress of installing toilets in all MTR stations in Hong Kong? What is your direction? Are you aiming at 100% as a target? That is, you will install toilets in all MTR stations in Hong Kong? Thank you, Mr. Dominic Lee. I will invite my colleague to take one of your questions. I'll first get to the barrier-free access in Tai Wai Station. There are barrier-free accesses in all MTR stations. Member mentioned a particular location in Tai Wai Station as well as the use of escalators. We'll look into the situation and see how we can improve the situation in relation to crowd management as well as the use of space. On toilets, there are some 33 stations that do not have toilets. That is due to the technical difficulty or difficulties in different aspects. It's not that easy for us to install toilets in these stations. Some 66% or in all interchange stations there are also toilets installed. We hope to have the understanding of the public. And we'd also like the public to know where the toilets are. In the remaining stations where there are no toilets, if need be, members of the public can contact our station staff and they can also use the toilets in the offices. Next, Ms. Shersley. Thank you. In relation to Kowloon Tong Station, we have merged 2 stations and there is just one paid area. Kowloon Tong Station is an interchange station. We can build an access. Well, I'm not talking about an access. Just like Meifu Station, you can tap the autobus card to enter the station and you can also exit the station without having to pay. Do you mean entering and exiting the same station without payment? Well, we'll look into the situation and we will also see how we can deal with the situation in a reasonable manner. Well, there is no access right now, but like Meifu Station, no access is needed. When a passenger taps the autobus card and enters the station, the passenger can also exit the station without having to pay if he or she leaves the station within 20 minutes. There shouldn't be any technical difficulty. Next, Mr. Chen Hock Fong. Thank you, Chairman. Speaking of experience, I think going north to make spending is very common. In Admiralty Station, many people are waiting to get on board, so the platform is actually jam-packed. A lot of people are going to Lok Ma Chau, but then many passengers do not board the train while they are waiting on the platform. That is not good experience. Do you have any timetable to make adjustments to the frequency of trains heading to Lok Ma Chau and to Lo Wu? Currently, the ratio is 2:1. When the stations are packed, that will affect the passenger experience. Indeed, turning to the point of toilets, there have been improvements bringing convenience to passengers, but then the quality of toilets or quality of service need to be enhanced. There is strong odor from toilets. Hygienic conditions are not ideal. Inside the toilets, many women do not want to use the toilets. They just leave the washroom, and that's not the standard a high-quality MTR should possess. I hope you should enhance the hygienic conditions of toilets. 2 questions. Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, Member. In relation to East Rail Line, we'll have regard to the use and make adjustments to passenger trips. On weekends, we identified a higher passenger demand, and we have also adjusted the frequency of trains. We also add trains on the East Rail Line in order to improve passenger experience. We will also have regard to the use in order to make adjustments. On the use of toilets, I understand members' concerns and expectations. We'll continue to enhance hygienic conditions of toilets. In 7 stations, there are smart toilets. They are mainly interchange stations and commercial business centers, or some major business hubs. We'll see how we can leverage on technology to improve the hygienic conditions of toilets. The aim is to provide better experience to passengers. Any follow-up? No follow-up. Well, Dr. Lee, 7 stations have smart toilets, but why can't you apply smart toilets in all stations? Well, we need to take it step by step, but then when you have confirmed this is actually good, will you implement that? Yes, we will look into that. Thank you, Chairman. Mr. Chen Xiu-hong. Thank you, Chairman. I'm glad to see the MTRCL improving the facilities as well as passenger experience. The MTRCL has been coming back to the subcommittee of the Legislative Council, and I can definitely see enhancements. I'd like to point out 2 issues, one on safety, that is the screen door on stations, as well as the environmental issues. Regarding the screen door on East Rail Line, Dr. Lee explained that there are technical difficulties. By the end of 2025, some will be completed, but then we are concerned about the safety on jam-packed platforms. That is, how can you ensure safety on jam-packed platforms? There are station staff members directing passenger flow as well as maintaining safety in the platform. In the course of construction, indeed, there are technical difficulties in relation to platform gates. Is it because of the golden 2 hour in the evening that has been causing difficulty in the installation of platform gates? If you had more time, is it possible that you would have completed the installation of platform gates earlier? I thank the MTRCL for arranging visits to Hin King Station there are green facilities in Hin King Station. At that time, Dr. Lee mentioned if the results are ideal, that will be expanded to other stations, including green facilities or facilities of great energy conservation. I'd like to have the updates of the latest progress. That is how we can promote environmental protection. Dr. Lee, 2 questions. Thank you, member. In relation to platform gates, starting from the middle of 2023, we have finished the installation of platform gates in 2 stations. This year, we aim to finish the platform gates in 9 stations. In 2025, we'll try to finish the installation of platform gates on the 3 stations with sharper platform curves. So we will have completed the installation in all 13 stations. Taking stock of our experience, we have identified room for making enhancements in our construction phase. That is, we can expedite the work and we can enhance efficiency. Rest assured that by the end of 2025, we will have finished the installation of all platform gates in all 13 stations. We'll also try to enhance the efficiency of the construction, making good use of the 2-hour golden hours in the evening. We don't want to affect the commuting of passengers. We'll try to enhance the construction in order to make sure that we will have finished all the installation projects by the end of 2025. Together with members, I went to Hin King Station, and it is a very important pilot station in relation to green facilities. Solar panels have been widely used in many stations, as well as in depots. Solar panels and ground tiles are widely used. Regarding tiles, they come at a high cost. We are waiting for the technology to mature. We'll try to move from 0 to 1 and from 1 to n in order to achieve wide adoption of such technologies. It's not the first time that we mention the point of 2-hour golden period. Mr. Chen mentioned passenger safety, that is to expedite the installation of platform gates. We definitely welcome this installation. It's not busy in the evening in stations. Can you close the stations earlier in the evening? Thank you. Dr. Lo Wai Kwok. Thank you, Chairman. the MTR has been an integral part of the daily life of members of the public. There are baby care rooms, toilets, as well as concourse. There are also performance venues. Some concourses are even used to stage some exhibitions. There were also music events held in MTR stations. MTR needs to provide safe and convenient services to both citizens as well as tourists. So I need to talk about an issue that happened just lately. That is, in Tsim Sha Tsui Station, there were cracked railways affecting service along the Tuen line. It has been repaired and services have been resumed normal. Track safety is paramount. There have been many examination or inspection technologies. After the MTR has closed service, it's the time when the MTR has inspects the services. But then the impact of the incident is quite wide, is quite extensive. Can the MTRCL explain to us how enhancements in inspections as well as safety have been enhanced? Thank you, Chairman. In Tsim Sha Tsui Station, in a welding joint point, there's a crack on the track. So, based on the standing mechanism, trains moved at reduced speed, and the MTR trip time has been extended by 3 to 5 minutes. In relation to the inspection of railway tracks, as member mentioned, there are indeed fewer cases in recent years, but then one case is already too many. Every 2 weeks, we have sonic wave inspection to examine railway tracks. There are visual inspections every 3 weeks. There are also other kind of inspections carried out by our staff members. There are special monitoring systems installed on some trains, so in real time, we have a close watch on the track status. Despite this, we dismantle the relevant parts and we will also send them to the laboratory. We will further analyze the parts to make sure we can minimize these incidents. We'd like to obtain big data and analyze them. For example, by making use of AI, we'd like to strengthen safety as well as to reduce risks. I hope members will understand that we are already taking different means in order to ease the problem. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman. As I said, tracks are crucial to train safety. In small incidents, we may see service delays. However, for serious cases in which passenger safety is at risk, this would not be acceptable. Understand that after you close your stations, there are devices used to check your tracks, and it is great news that you are using different types of technology to inspect your tracks, and this will help minimize incidents. Thank you, member. We share the same view. Next, Mr. Kitson-Young. MTRC only knows raising the fare prices. I am serving the Kowloon City district. We are seeing an aging population there. We need physical customer service centers, not Tracy. It's useless how many Tracys there are. You have services that support your passengers, but your services are not thoughtful enough. There are physical customer service centers at your stations, but they are left idle. Why don't you deploy staff to man the service centers? Why are you not asking your station staff to operate the service centers? You already have these facilities in place, but you're not providing the services. You've been saying that you want to improve your services. In To Kwa Wan, there is a long staircase at exit A with 100 steps. How are the elderly people supposed to use the staircase? Mr. Dominic Lee mentioned that in Whampoa Station as well as Hong Kong Station, there's a lack of facilities that connect the concourse to the street level. You have successful examples at other stations, but there is a lack of such facilities at Kowloon Tong Station and Whampoa Station. You need to provide the links between the concourse and street level. Can you allow elderly people to, after tapping their octopus cards, to use the toilets? Can you give them 10 minutes to use the toilets after tapping their octopus cards? I believe that they won't be able to travel from one station to another station just within 10 minutes. This will also facilitate passengers who are forgetful or who have mistakenly tapped their octopus card and entered the station. Who will take the question? Dr. Lee. I thank member for the questions. On customer service centers, our goal is that we want our station staff to take the initiative to offer assistance to passengers. So we have an ambassador at the stations to offer help to passengers. We've heard your views. We will see how we can enhance communication between staff and passengers. On the escalator at To Kwa Wan Station, we need to take into consideration the structure of our station, fire services, installation, fire safety, as well as the geographical locations of our stations to consider whether we can provide escalators. We'll also see whether we are able to deploy resources to that. If there are new resources available, we will see how we can make arrangements to provide more convenient services. We will go through members' views one by one after the meeting to see how we can improve our arrangement and services. Next, Mr. Michael TIEN. Thank you, Chairman. I have two questions. The first one is about yesterday's incident. I remember before the railway merger, the Kowloon Canton Railway had to follow up on a lot of incidents. We had 20-minute notification, then it was shortened to 8 minutes or 3 minutes. I understand you are using ultrasonic technologies to inspect train tracks. Such inspection was conducted once a month in the past. In around 2005, it was enhanced to once every 2 weeks. It's been 20 years now, and the frequency is still once every 2 weeks. Now we have seen lots of technologies you can use. You will have $6.5 billion, $65 billion. You can conduct more frequent inspections. Please move with times. You've seen the merger, and you should use $65 billion to improve the frequency of your inspections. On the incident, when was the last time the train passed through the affected track? I want to know the information you got about the incident. Last year, on the 31st of August, there was already automatic platform gates at Kwun Tong Station. However, still someone fell into the track. And I asked you to narrow the gap between train and platform. But such gap has not been narrowed. I visited the site a few days ago. Still, the gap has not been narrowed at a lot of stations. Such gap would cause danger. If you cannot fix this problem, and a lot of people know that there is such gap or loophole, maybe you can install CCTV cameras at the last car of each train, and if someone fallen onto the track again, and if you spot, for instance, a shadow, then you should stop your service immediately. Would you consider this option? Dr. Lee. The first question is about whether we can conduct inspection once every 2 weeks instead of once every week instead of once every 2 weeks. Well, there is difficulty mainly because of the condition of the tracks and how frequently we use our train tracks. Of course, we want to conduct such inspection every night, but there is difficulty because we only have the 2-hour golden period every night. As mentioned, we will make use of the real-time data we got to see how we can, with limited time and limited resources, we can improve our tracks. Well, you have $65 billion. You can hire more people to do that. Well, we have to make arrangements for that. Well, yesterday our staff dismantled the parts. We will fully analyze the data to see how we can prevent such incidents from happening again. On the point about the last car of the train at MTR station, at Tuen station, Tong station, we have tried to increase the height and thickness of the platform. However, such gap between the train and platform still exists. So we have a new detection system in place, and there is an alert system in place for our station staff. So for all stations with such risk, we will amend the problems within this year. Next, Mr. Brave Chen. On Mr. Ben Chen, on the installation of automatic platform gates, we see that the progress is going well. So I hope the relevant work will be completed by next year. We've been waiting for such automatic platform gates for long time for Kwai Fong and Kwai Hing stations. Every summer, people complain about the station because of the high temperature. I'm glad to see that there is air conditioning installed at the stations so that businesses there as well as passengers can have a better experience. As for barrier-free facilities, as mentioned, there are some stations equipped with passenger lifts. However, there aren't escalators at some stations. This is problematic because not a lot of people opt for passenger lifts. For instance, at Tai Wo House Station, there is often a long queue of people waiting for one passenger lift, and there are no escalators at that station. Over the years, we've been asking for the provision of escalators at Tai Wo House Station. Now, the government has installed the escalator, but where is the escalator from MTRC? Well, the MTRC promised that it would provide an escalator, but there's no mention of that in your paper. My other question is about toilets. I want to know that since the commissioning of a West Rail line in 2003, there have been toilets. However, at, for instance, Chunwan Station or Kam Shun Road Station, it's been used for some 24 years now, and the toilets have to be renovated. Also, you'll see a more extensive MTR network. And you are still sticking to the 2-hour golden period approach. Will you make use of AI technologies to maximize the effect of the 2-hour golden period? Or would you consider extending the golden period to 3 hours, for instance? Dr. Lee, 3 questions. I thank member for your appreciation and recognition of our effort. At Exit C at Tai Wo House Station, I can promise you that we will commence installation work of escalators as soon as possible. We hope that we will commence such work within this year. On the point about toilets, we will ask our contractors as well as station staff to ensure the hygiene of our toilets. We also regularly refurbish and renovate our station toilets. We strive to ensure that we can provide good toilets to passengers. Also, we will make good use of technologies, different types of machines, big data analytics, etc., to conduct analysis and optimize our works. This will maximize our effort during the 2-hour period. As to whether we will extend the 2-hour period, it will be depending on our arrangement. For high-risk works, we will see whether we can extend the inspection period to ensure we make good use of our assets.
So regarding the update of toilets along the West Rail Line, well, Dr. Lee mentioned improving the hygienic conditions of toilets, but we can't blame the cleaners. There's a lack of fresh air in the toilets owing to the outdated ventilation system. There's even no air conditioning in some toilets, so I do look forward to an update timeline. For example, we are updating the timeline in some stations, such as Yunlong Station. Well, when you have a timetable, please provide it to the Legislative Council for our reference. Thank you. Mr. Chao Siu-chung. Thank you, Chairman. Safety is close to the heart of members of the public. Stations along the East Rail Line, there are often incidents where passengers fall onto the track. That would affect the punctuality of trains. All along, we have been asking to install automatic platform gates. I'm glad to see that the MTRCL has a quite clear timetable. But I have some questions. You said that a couple of stations will have the installation projects started soon. That's about September, October. So does it mean that you can complete the installation projects within 3 months? As you mentioned, the installation will have been completed by the end of 2024. Regarding the more complex projects, they will be completed within 2025. If you can advance the installation project, I understand, but why don't you commence the installation earlier? Instead, you are going to wait until the 4th quarter of this year before you will commence the project. I don't understand. You also mentioned providing some power sockets of wheelchairs in 6 stations. In 18 stations, there will also be drinking water dispenser. I'd like to know how difficult it is to install the dedicated sockets for electric wheelchairs and drinking water dispenser. How difficult? How difficult is it? Why do you need to study the feasibility of these facilities? What conditions do you need to have before you can install more drinking water dispensers? Dr. Lee, please. In relation to the station safety along the East Rail Line, this is high on the agenda. We do have video monitoring systems along the East Rail Line. Whenever there is anyone falling onto the track, station officers will be informed to handle the situation. Regarding the installation of automatic platform gates, we'll try to start with stations that are easier to start with before we move on to stations with sharper platform curves. So we need to take it step by step. For stations with sharper platform curves, the commencement will only start from the fourth quarter of this year, and by the end of 2025, we'll have finished the installation of automatic platform gates on all platforms. Regarding drinking water dispensers, hygienic conditions are involved, so we need to conduct a holistic analysis. We also need to take stock of the situation in interchange stations. For example, we'll tap the needs of passengers before we decide on which stations to install these drinking water dispensers. Next member, Mr. Tung. Thank you, Chairman. MTR is a major public transport provider in Hong Kong. The service quality of MTR does have a significant impact on citizens in Hong Kong, so citizens do have high hopes on the MTRCL. I do understand that the MTRCL has been working hard to improve the quality of services. It has a good standing around the world. I hope the MTRCL will not be complacent. I expect continuous enhancement of services. In paragraph 3 of the papers, it touches upon the optimization of station concourse layout. I believe you have already studied the layout in all stations with analysis, so you'll have a better idea of what facilities to add in order to smoothen passenger flow. Members also mentioned the deficiencies or room for improvement in some stations. Can you give us more information? You mentioned you need to accord priority, and it does take time. We understand, but we'd like to have more information, like Fortress Hill Station. We're getting old. I wouldn't have any problem if I were still young. We still need to wait until 2027. I'd like to have more information regarding improving facilities in MTR stations. We need to be concerned about environmental issues. Such as carbon reduction and so on. We shouldn't overlook the importance of carbon reduction as well as climate change. We need to take into account climate change, or else there will be impact on the future generations. I'd like to know more about this. If the MTRCL can provide information today, I hope that they can provide information after the meeting. Thank you, Mr. Tung, for recognizing our efforts. We'll definitely not be complacent. Some facilities need to be updated or renovated when they are aging. We'll take into account passenger flow and will also move with the times to see how we can make enhancements. Different stations have different plans. Mr. Tung mentions stations that he frequently uses. For stations that have more use of the elderly people, we will also pay special attention in relation to environmental protection. Earlier on, 160 chillers or air conditioning systems have been replaced. We have been adopting greener materials. As you can see, lights in stations have been replaced with some LED lights in order to make it greener. In large-scale renovation projects, we will also take into account green elements. If there are opportunities, we will invite members to visit these facilities. Members have good suggestions. We know you have a plan. Mr. Tung means that if you have such information, you can give us this information. Instead of criticizing you afterwards, we could communicate in advance in relation to environmental protection. You have given us some information. I believe in the procurement and installation of systems. I believe you have greening elements in your mind. So when you can let us know your considerations, there will also be fewer concerns from members. Next, Mr. Holden Chow. Thank you, Chairman. Regarding facilities in MTR and light rail, I use Tuen station quite frequently. I can see the updated monitors in light rail stations. I thank MTRCL for your efforts. In Tuen Rural Committee Road B3X connecting to other buses, there are a couple of steps in this flight of stairs connecting to light rail station. I thank MTRCL for liaising with district councillors. There was a site visit. Some residents nearby reflected to us that the flight of stairs were not convenient for people with a pram or for people with wheelchairs. Even if they need to take a detour, can you provide a ramp for them to access the station? I understand members had a site visit, and I hope that you will investigate the situation. Installing a ramp will help alleviate the problem. In some MTR stations, such as MOT station, there's a flight of stairs connecting to MOT center. Some wheelchair users need to use the platform or the special facility. I'd like to know more about the situation. So how many stations are still equipped with these wheelchair platforms? Well, after all, if we have a lift or an escalator for wheelchairs, that will be better. We'll study the situation to see how we can bring convenience, for example, by installing portable ramps. There are barrier-free accesses in all stations, but some wheelchair users find it more convenient to use portable ramps. Station officers will render assistance if need be. We'll see how we can enhance the service, for example, how they can contact station officers more conveniently. I hope members will understand that there is technical difficulty when we have to install elevator or escalator for wheelchairs. Next, Mr. Kenneth Lau. MTR system is very important. It serves some 5 million passengers. Some facilities are aging. There is also bottleneck problem. MTR has been improving the facilities in order to provide better services. As a passenger myself, of course, I support the MTR CL. I'd like to ask more about the monitors and light rail stations. Some monitors were damaged owing to the riots in 2019. Some check the next train status using mobile phones. Some monitors are actually displayed in the middle of stations. There's no monitor at either end of the station. Not all elderly people actually use these mobile phones. Will you consider installing monitors at either end of the station? Are there any mechanisms to help members of the public who are not well up in the use of mobile phones in order to help them have a better grasp on the train status? Thank you.
Dr. Lee, thank you, Chairman. We make regular upgrades on our assets and different facilities to ensure that we provide good services to passengers. On display panels at light rail stops within this year, we will complete the installation of such panels at all stations. If members are of the view that there needs to be extra panels at the two ends of the platforms, we will conduct a visit with members to see how we can complete such installation. There are apps that people can use to get information about when the train will arrive. I understand that some passengers are not used to using smartphones, and such display panels will come in handy. We have enriched the information we provide through the display panels to facilitate passengers. We are happy to conduct more visits with passengers. Mr. Gary Zhang. Thank you, Chairman. In the past, we cared about whether trains arrived on time. And MTRC performed well in this respect. However, all over the world, railway operators now are doing very well in this regard as well. To enhance our competitiveness, we have to look at whether we can conduct timely repair works and maintenance works. We're still ranking the top compared to other places in the world. I visited the railway facilities of in other places, and I still think that MTRC is leading in terms of its facilities and services. My first question is about East Rail Line because it concerns residents I am serving. During Easter holiday and Qingming holiday, we saw challenges with the provision of services of the MTRC. I heard feedback that there were crowds of people at Lowell stations. I want to know how the MTRC is going to improve its crowd management measures at Lowell Station in the future. For East Rail Line, the stations are open section stations. So when weather is bad, passengers' experience gets affected as well. when there is heavy rain, it affects passengers at the station. I understand it's hard to convert all stations on Israel Line into enclosed stations. I wonder if you can increase your service frequency so that people during bad weather won't have to wait for a long time on the platform. My third question is about Fanling District. The government is going to build a bridge that connects Luen War Market to Fanling Station. Will the MTRC consider providing a station at Luen War Market so that people can get on the train at Luen War Ho? Also, currently, the broadcasting services or public announcement at MTR stations are not made in 3 languages. And this is not convenient for our passengers. Currently, at Airport Express stations and West Kowloon stations, some passengers may take train from West Kowloon to airport. Currently, there is still just one small lift that takes passengers from the West Kowloon station to the shopping mall elements. Passengers are often carrying their luggage, waiting for the lift. This has to do with the competitiveness of our city. Can you improve your services in this regard so that people who switch from Express Rail Link to Airport Express can enjoy more convenience? Dr. Lee. Depending on the flow of passengers will improve services. During Easter holiday, we noticed the situation at Lowu Station. We'll see how we can improve our crowd management measures. On the lift at Elements, we will see how we can improve the facilities. Members, 2 more members have pressed the button to speak, so I will extend the meeting by 15 minutes. Mr. Gary Chen, I have 2 simple questions. The first has been asked by other members. A lot of people are now using the Lok Ma Chau station, and the frequency of train services there are not in line with that provided at Lowu Station. I want to know if the train frequency at Lok Ma Chau Station can align with that at Lowu Station. On platform gates, we see screen doors at Racecourse Station and Tai Po Station. Recently, 2 visually impaired people trespassed onto the track, and 1 fell onto the track accidentally. And this is not very acceptable. Can the MTRC tell us whether the 2 people fell onto the track because of your installation works, or is it because of your tactile guide path? Well, your guide path are supposed to bring visually impaired people to the platform safely. I want to see if it is the failure of the tactile guide paths. Also, after the 2 incidents, have you comprehensively reviewed platforms where installation works are being carried out to see if you have to improve your guide paths? 2 questions, Dr. Lee. On train frequencies at Lok Ma Chau Station, we will pay special attention to people's needs. Starting from the 26th of March, we have increased the frequency of train to 1 train every 10 minutes instead of 1 train every 12 minutes. There were 2 incidents in March, and one involving a visually impaired person, and the other incident involving a passenger who was taking a phone call at the time. We have a video surveillance monitor system that detects any passengers who fall onto the track, and during the incidents, our staff immediately offered help and stopped the train at the station, and we also helped the 2 people to get back onto the platforms. We have also reviewed our tactile guide paths, and we think our facilities are still proper. There are also alert systems at escalators or at ticket gates to offer help to visually impaired persons. So we have to install automatic platform gates to ensure that no one would accidentally fall onto the tracks. Can Dr. Lee clarify that the 2 incidents have nothing to do with your tactile guide path? Right. It has nothing to do with the guide path. They were simply 2 accidents that we didn't want to see. Next, Mr. Michael LUK. Chairman, earlier I got complaints from passengers as well as feedback from work unions. Currently, officers working at customer service centers, well, there is a lack of manpower at these service centers. I understand that the service has been outsourced to a company, and this company had problems with hiring staff. And so a station officer was asked to run the service centers. Normally, there is 1 captain and 2 station officers at 1 station, but 1 station officer had to take the work of selling tickets. It's not enough to have just 1 staff manning the service center. Especially during morning shifts and night shifts, this contractor has been having a hard time to hire people to fill the vacancies. You have to make sure that your contractors can hire enough staff, so I wonder if MTRC can do anything to address the problem. The other problem concerns light rail stops. FTU got over 10,000 signatures earlier to ask for a display panel at light rail stops. We ask for traditional display panels that are hanging above the platforms that can be seen by all passengers on the platforms. We don't want just a small LED monitor screen on the platform. For big stations or stations with high passenger flow, I think it's reasonable to have display panels. Well, these panels were damaged during Black violence in 2019. For ticketing machine at light rail stops, some of them have been upgraded, but some of them are still lacking the function of allowing people to top up their octopus cards. Is it so hard for you to add the function for people to top up their octopus cards at these ticketing machines? Some people, they only realize that there is no money left in their octopus cards when they get to the platform. So I wonder if such function can be included at the ticketing machines. Dr. Lee. Thank you, Chairman. On provision of services, our contractors, well, based on our agreements with our contractors have to ensure stable provision of services. For stations where there's a lack of manpower, hired by contractors, we arrange our staff to take up the duties, but we do ask our contractors to make sure that they recruit enough staff. To ensure good services, we have to ensure enough manpower, so we will continue to follow up on this matter. On the location of display panels, we've had several discussions on this. Our arrangement is to at particular locations or spots at platforms install such panels instead of having these panels hanging above the platforms. On allowing passengers to top up their Octopus card, we will see how we can add more of such machines at different stations. For passengers, they can top up their Octopus card at major stations or at convenience stores. Mr. Michael Luke.
你想要呢樣？係啊，
So you're asking for monitors hanging above the platform showing the next train status, is that correct? Yes, they were damaged during the Black Cloud violence in 2019. Right now we have smaller monitors only. Well, you need to penalize contractors. You even need to terminate the contract. Otherwise, there's a lack of manpower in the platform when there was no station officer on duty. Well, the situation has already improved. We've been maintaining a close dialogue, and we will keep a close watch on the situation. One member is going to speak in the second round, Mr. Chen Siu-hong, 3 minutes. Thank you, Chairman. I'd like to follow up on the work arrangement during the 2-hour golden window. If passenger safety is involved, Dr. Lee mentioned saving time in the construction phase. You really need to see if there is any breakthrough in the 2-hour golden window. We care more than passenger safety. There are 2 projects on the topside development of stations. They come at a very high price tag. One of them is the Tongchong extension line, but the construction is subject to the 2-hour golden window. On the 7th of July 2023, the MTRCL said that by the end of the 3rd quarter of 2023, they said a task force would be set up to study the relevant issue. That is to see how to meet the demand. I'd like to know the progress of the review. Thank you, member. In relation to asset update, a task force has already been set up. There's a senseless arrangement. There is also a sensor arrangement. We need to get to the root of the problem. That may take more time. For example, beyond the 2-hour golden window. We also need to take into account the risks. If need be, we'll give advance notice to passengers to let them know how they will be affected, and also to provide them with other transport options so that they can make the best commuting decisions. And we can also make the best decisions in relation to when to carry out the construction works. That's about our asset management and maintenance regime. Thank you. Apart from the arrangements mentioned, the reliability of railway system as well as its safety are also close to our hearts. There's need to be a breakthrough in the 2-hour golden window. the MTRCL needs to give us an account of events in due course. Well, as I mentioned, it's not the first time we discuss this item in the Council. The MTRCL should review the situation. Of course, I'm not asking you to conduct works in all stations. In a 2-hour golden window, how many staff members do you need? That will drive up the cost, which will in turn drive up the MTR fares. It's not unique to Hong Kong. Why do we need the 2-hour golden window? It also happens in other places around the world. I hope you will take into account members' views. I have one question. Just now you mentioned the Caring for Dementia program. I understand there is also a similar program in the bus company. Are you working in separate silos, or are you actually sharing the same database? We are using our own database. When we identify these persons in our stations, we will inform station officers. I understand there is database in other means of public transport. Well, I think the administration should look into this. Now that different transport companies have similar databases, should they submit the information to the Security Bureau or the police force so that there can be a centralized platform for the administration to identify missing persons in public transport? This may be a better way. Agenda item number 3, any other business? This is the last meeting in this legislative session. I thank members as well as the administration and the secretariat for your support for the work of the subcommittee. If there is no any other business, meeting adjourned. Thank you for attending the meeting today.